We came from a situation probably a lot like yours. We heard years ago that you could make income online, and it just felt like such a pipe dream. And we have spent years learning from the school of hard knocks, but now we earn our full-time incomes online. And this webinar is all about taking everything that we've learned over the last many years and showing it to you to save you all of that time.
So here's what we promise over the course of this webinar. First of all, we're going to show you our method for replacing a full-time income with passive income online in 24 months.
In the most reliable way is something that I should add, because there are like 1,000 different ways you can make money online, and frankly, they're great. There are a lot of different ways to go about this. But this is the way that we've found that's like, it's actually pretty repeatable, and we've taught lots of people how to do it.
And it's sustainable over the long term. This isn't something that's gonna make you good income, you're gonna quit your job, and then all of a sudden it's like gone. The income just disappears. It's something that if you build it right the way we teach, it's gonna be able to sustainably provide that income for years to come.
Yeah, and another thing we want to give you is something that we call the Project 24 timeline. So you're going to be hearing Project 24 a lot during this. Yeah. We call that just a project where you're working today with the goal of in 24 months replacing your current income with money from income websites. So we're going to give you a timeline of just what you should do every month, how much traffic we expect your site to have at that point, and how much income you should be earning each month of your journey, so you know when you're on track.
And we're sharing that with you in this webinar. That's not something that you have to go buy, okay? So you're gonna get that just for watching this video.
And it's huge. It's huge to have, because like that is by far the #1 reason, after working with thousands of people starting online businesses, the #1 reason that we see sites fail is because the entrepreneur quit too soon.
Yep.
We find that it takes about 35 weeks. This is after looking at thousands of blog posts, about 35 weeks for a new article on a new website to get to about the highest level of traffic that it's going to get from Google. And so if you quit too soon, you may have done everything right, but you didn't wait long enough to see that result. So this timeline is huge, and it can completely prevent that big problem that we often see.
We're also going to share with you our content mix. This is our first of a few year-saving tips. That's what we call them, because knowing this thing could literally save you a year or more of frustration, of failed attempts at your website, because you just didn't know what to do right, and because there's this lag between when you do the work and when you start to reap the reward. And because of that lag, you don't get immediate feedback. You don't know if what you're doing really worked. And so again, this content mix is the first recipe or the first tip. And what it's all about is what types of posts to write and in what order to write them. We'll get into that in a lot more detail later when we actually talk about the content.
Yeah, last thing we want to give you in terms of a tangible thing that you're going to have is a site ideas tool. So, okay, this sounds interesting, but you're just not quite sure what to do to get started, what topic for your website. This tool should mostly remove that problem from you. We've spent a lot of time on making it for you. So please give us your attention. I mean, we have spent years making these mistakes, and in just this 45-minute webinar, I think we can save you years of frustration. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, both of us have, people starting online businesses who have just tried and failed and stumbled for years, and I really feel like we can prevent a lot of those problems and get you reliably to earning income for your family if you'll just give us 45 minutes of attention. I promise we can make it worth it for you.
So if you're meeting us for the first time, this is Jim, I'm Ricky. We're a couple of normal guys from Idaho. We were friends in high school. Jim went off and did his thing. He went to law school. I went and got an engineering degree, worked a normal job, earned an MBA. And somewhere along the line, we learned that this whole business model was possible. And
really by accident, not by accident, through hard work, not by accident. but with luck.
Yes.
Like there are some things that I did in the beginning that I kind of just lucked into. That like, hey, actually that did work and I earned a little bit of money. And then you just learn what's possible and you keep going.
Exactly. And over time, this has become the full-time income source for both of us. We've been doing this full-time now. We've built up a network of successful websites. And over the course of 6 months, we went from being a couple guys building blogs to a company with about 50 employees, just creating awesome content for these websites, just building a significant business out of generating awesome content for the internet.
Yeah, it's really cool what it's done. And for our families, it's been awesome. I have a wife and 3 kids. Ricky has about 400 kids. And,
4.
and it's so cool what it has done for us to have that freedom of time, place, and the money to be able to do things. So we're really excited to share it.
And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but this approach to building websites and to SEO is just blowing up. It's working so well right now because honestly, it just is so in line with what the search engines are trying to do. And because of that, we are personally just doubling down on this and doing it ourselves. But at the same time, we're wanting to share the things we've learned with you. There's so much more opportunity available than we will ever be able to take advantage of. Mm-hmm. And we want you to be able to jump in and get a piece of that pie.
So let's get down to brass tacks. That's the weirdest phrase in the world, by the way. All right. So I want to tell you a story of one of the income sites that we have built. It was a website about pontoon boats. So several years ago, I really wanted to buy a boat. I got the boat stars in my eyes. I was looking at them for a long time. And eventually I saved up the money. I paid cash for a boat. And I was so proud that day to get on my boat the first time and take my family out. I loved it. But you get that pit in your stomach the first time.
That outlay of cash, it's just...
And so I turned to my wife as we were pulling out of the dealership and I said, I'm going to make a website about boats and it's going to earn more than I ever spent on this boat. And she believed in me. It was really cool. And I had built other successful sites by this point already, but I just knew I was going to do it. And so I started writing a blog. What I did is I looked at my Google search history and I was like, I've learned so much as I've been researching to buy this. I'm just going to write a blog post answering all of those questions that I've already learned now. Yeah. And it ended up, I think, at 33 posts. And
took about a month, right?
Yeah. I just
one a day, basically.
One a day, just publishing hour, and I got it done. And then I got busy with my other websites, doing other things, but I had planted a good seed in the ground of this website. It took time, a lot of time, for the website to start ranking on Google, which is completely normal. And then I started to look back at the analytics and I was like, hey, this is turning into something. And in the end, that website was earning over $4,000 a month from those 33 articles. And then I sold it for $74,000 for it. I earned in the time that I had the site plus what I sold it for, like more than 3 or 4 times what I had spent on that brand new boat.
We're talking
cool what you can do.
We're talking about like an hour a day for a month, basically, is what it took to generate that kind of income. Now, this isn't just a super easy, get rich quick kind of thing. It took real work. And it took a lot of effort to be able to write those articles, and it took a lot of time. And I think that's the key point. But the fact is that this is something that's so repeatable, and we've proven that because we keep doing it over and over again. I'll tell you another quick story about another website. This is camperreport.com. We still own this one.
You can go check it out.
Go check it out right now.
Open another tab, camperreport.com. You can see what we're talking about.
Same idea. Okay, actually almost exactly the same story. Jim bought a camper, same kind of thing, right? And it was like, I'm gonna make a blog about campers. And in searching for information online, it was easy to see that there were just a lot of gaps in the information available. And so in another month or so, Jim wrote the first 30 to 40 articles on that website. And again, it kind of sat for a while. And a little while later, about a year later, just looking at it, it was earning pretty good income. In fact, a year and a half into that website, it was getting over 100,000 page views a month.
That's crazy.
And at 2.5 years, 300,000 page views. The capability of that.
And to grow it like that, we stopped writing. We've just outsourced the writing to get it to that level.
We turned that one website into its own little business. Hired some freelance writers and more. We're just outsourcing the content and been able to grow it
Which
substantially.
isn't that expensive. I mean, we pay 2 to 3 cents a word usually to hire a freelancer to write on the site. So it's not that expensive to do, especially once your website is earning a little bit of money that you can reinvest.
So,
but how does the website earn money?
Good question.
Because it's something that I think a lot of people wonder, like, okay, but how? So on these websites that we've talked about so far, they're really simple. Like the most basic way that these sites are earning money is ads and affiliate. And so ads is you just sign up with a network and they'll put these display ads on your website and they'll pay you generally about $15 per 1,000 page views. But it can go way up or way down from there depending on the topic. And then affiliate, like linking to Amazon, Amazon will give you a commission for sending somebody that bought, or Walmart, or just about every large retailer online has commissions for things like that. It's really pretty simple. If you can get the traffic, you can get the money.
So here's a question for you. What's a topic? What's something that you have just Googled to death? Like something that you have just researched like crazy? Whether it's a hobby, something to buy, something,
a big purchase,
a lifestyle
problem,
thing,
a health problem.
Go ahead and comment below. Just what is it that you have Googled to death before? And then just kind of look through the comments under this video. Every single one of those is the beginning of an idea for a website.
And another cool thing is, what have you Googled to death and been frustrated that you couldn't quite find?
It's even better.
That's even better, because that means there's not as much competition for that topic. But we've continued to build out a network of websites. We have dirtbikeplanet.com. We have a website on parenting. We have Outdoor Troop. We have pets websites.
Okay, but this isn't about us, right? This is all about you. So let's talk about what we can expect for you. Because again, we mentioned that timeline at the beginning, and by far, I mean, we have worked with thousands of people now on their websites. And hands down, the number one reason why too many people give up is because they fail, or the reason they fail, I should say, is because they give up too early. And it's usually because they don't have any idea of what they should expect at each point along the way. This is our timeline of what to expect over the course of 24 months. The actions are the most important part. But then we share with you the realistic idea of about how many page views your website should be able to be getting at this point and how much money you should be able to earn. This timeline really is the outline, the template of our whole Project 24 and how to get there over the course of 24 months. And it's a realistic expectation. We try not to be too rosy.
Yeah, it's not rosy or pessimistic. Yeah. It's just kind of like what we often see. And obviously it depends so much on your industry and etc. You know, some industries are going to have high monetization and low page views and vice versa. But this is just what we very often see.
And I think it's just important to note, if you look at the timeline, look, at about month 5, if you're not really earning anything,
that's actually normal.
Totally normal.
It would be abnormal if you were, honestly.
If you were earning if at month 3 you started earning some money, like that's really nice to see, but it means you're ahead of the game. And not knowing that, again, is what causes people to quit. They're 6 months in and they think, I've been working so hard on this business and it's not doing very much yet. I must have failed. When really, you might have done everything exactly right. Okay,
so to get access to this, we want you to have this. If you're starting a website, whether you do it following our course or just by yourself, you need this. So go to incomeschool.com/income site webinar, and we'll get you the access to these things that we're mentioning here in the webinar.
All right, now let's talk about, that timeline is going to kind of walk you through everything for 24 months. But let's talk about the phases, the phases of this Project 24. Phase 1 is to plant a seed in the ground. We have, again, over a lot of time and a lot of experience failing many times and getting a lot of things right. We have refined a set of 60 steps. And these 60 steps walk you through exactly the process of creating that first website, setting it up, creating the first content, how to promote that content and just get it seen by people as quickly as possible. It's just, these 60 steps are constantly under refinement as we learn more and more, working just with hundreds and thousands of other people on their websites.
All right, it is time for your first year tip, and this is in phase 1. So the first year tip is called what we call our content mix. So after looking at thousands of blog posts, we said, why did this rank and why did that not rank? And doing that analysis over thousands of posts, we came up with something that has dramatically changed our success rate, and that is the content mix. Basically, here it is. We write 1/3 of our articles what we call a response post. These are short 1,350 word posts that usually answer a very specific question that you can answer quickly and have low competition. These posts need to be written first on your website. Start your website, immediately write these posts because they'll rank the quickest and they'll start to get you traction and credibility with Google. They'll also get your name out there once they're ranking on Google a little bit, so you can start to attract some links organically from other websites who find you in Google search. So the response posts, these short, very simple ones, often are not going to bring a ton of traffic because they're on just very specific low competition keywords. But by writing them, they can really get things going. And sometimes you find one that just kicks butt. I'm going to tell you something that no one ever will dare tell you in internet marketing. I'm just going to give away one of our top keywords that brings in about 15,000 people a month to our website. And it's how much do RVs weigh? Somebody's towing and they want to know just how much it weighs if their vehicle can tow an RV. Yeah. So I wrote a simple article on just how much an RV weighs, generally, or a camper weighs. And I mean, it just brings in huge amounts of traffic. And by creating that first on the website, you really get the ball rolling.
That's exactly right. And that's an article where the last time I checked, it ranks #1 on Google and has the snippet. Because we just wrote a really good response post, nailing the answer to that question, giving a nice average, and then providing lots of good examples so people can figure out about how much their camper probably weighs. This is super important, getting that initial traffic on your website. But then from there, we don't just want a website full of low competition keywords, because some of them are only going to bring in a few hundred page views every month. We need to start getting into the little bit more competitive, a little bit more meaty topics. And that's where the staple post comes in. So 1/3 of our initial posts are going to be staple posts, and we write them after the response posts. These tend to be about 2,200 words long, and they tend to pick up on topics that are just, again, a little bit more involved. It's not something you could necessarily answer with one sentence. A response post, you can usually give at least the initial answer very quickly. A staple post might be a list type post where you're going to give 10 tips or 13 neat places or 14 ways to do this. It might be kind of a how-to type article. It might just be a little bit beefier response type post, but where there's just not quite a simple short answer that you can give, or just where there's a lot more information to share. I know, like, there's a lot of different ways that you can write a staple post. The point is more about the length and kind of the level of competition that you're going up against. These are topics that there are other articles on the internet that kind of cover the same topic, but you're going to give a resource that's just better and more helpful.
And then the last type of post is your pillar post. So as you're doing your search analysis and you're trying to decide which articles to write on your website, you're going to find a few that you just know are searched a lot and will bring in a lot of traffic. It's a big topic in your industry. And that's where we save them for a pillar post. This is where you put everything you can into making the ultimate resource for that search query. And these will usually bring in big traffic. But if you don't follow this content mix that we've learned through the School of Hard Knocks, we see so often people write these amazing posts, put them on their website, and they just die. They just never bring in traffic, and it's because you just didn't write them in the right order. You gotta start with the smaller posts and work up to there. Once you have a little bit of credibility with Google, then you can get them to actually rank.
And that's exactly it. These pillar posts are on much more competitive topics. And Google's not going to give a shot to a brand new little website until that little website has just shown that it has what it takes. And by winning a few of those low competition searches first with those response posts, you really do pick up that credibility. What we find is that this approach is a lot safer than a lot of the sort of tricky SEO techniques and tactics that other people in internet marketing are teaching.
Yeah, they're teaching these backlinking programs and link wheels and all this junk that can get your site banned from Google. And this is a way that you can actually rank, but do it totally legit so that Google will love your site.
Yep.
And then things get a little bit more difficult. So it's really exciting when you're starting your website and all the promise of it and working on your site, making it as helpful as you can for other people. And then it's like you've created a ghost town. Remember SimCity, that game we used to play?
Yeah.
Like where you're building your own little city, like you're building your blog and then like you look around and you're like, hey, nobody's here on your website. And this is where a lot of people get discouraged because they don't have the timeline and they don't realize that that's actually very normal at this phase, and you're probably right on track doing what you need to do. It just takes time for Google to start ranking it. But there's still a ton of work you need to be doing during this phase, and we have some tips to help you to make the most of it.
And I will say, I know it can be frustrating, I know it can be really scary, but we believe so much in this approach to earning an income, to building these kind of websites, that we are scaling up like crazy. Mm-hmm. We have our own creator studio where I mentioned that we have all these employees. These are people who are building these websites for us and just adding tons and tons of content. Why? Because we believe in this business model so much that we're doing it ourselves. There's so much opportunity available. So I want that to be motivating for you. It can be easy to feel like you should just give up. I can never succeed. But if a couple of hicks from Idaho can make this happen, you can too.
Yeah,
Enough about that.
No, really, that's a really good point, because sometimes we'll get a comment on our YouTube channels become kind of popular, and so we get a lot of comments of people saying like, if this works, then how come you're just teaching it instead of just doing it yourselves? And we're like, no, we're doing this. Like, we're spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every month to just hire an army of people to write blog posts and make videos and stuff, because it is working.
And even doing that, there is no risk of us ever filling the whole internet with information. This is such just like...
It's the whole world. There are 350 million active websites. So like our whatever 10, there's a lot of space. All right, so let's get started on this phase.
Phase 2, yeah.
Yeah, so this is where we want you to start into a publishing routine. We call it our publish hour. It's like, what would it take for you to just like wake up 1 hour early and just do a little bit of work on your website? Or maybe you have a lunch hour at work, or maybe on Saturdays you like have a good chunk until noon where you could just get a lot done. But you're just setting aside your routine where you can continually keep adding content to your website and getting things moving.
And that doesn't necessarily mean just writing blog posts an hour every day. But you should spend time every day, just create this publishing routine of creating content that you can publish. Whether it's podcasting, whether it's YouTube, whatever it is, spend an hour a day creating content. I'm not talking about spending an hour a day promoting your site, doing all sorts of other things, creating content. And we do this because this is a phase where we can really spend time scaling up our website so that as that initial seed starts to grow, there's just a lot more stuff there for the people that start to come to your website. And that's going to enable it to just snowball into, rather than just kind of start to trickle in some income. It can really start to snowball.
Yeah, we call this the hockey stick phase, where like, because you have done so much work in the beginning, writing this content that takes a long time to rank, but you've piled on and written so much content there that like, once some of it starts to take, Google just starts to pay attention to your whole website. And because you had so much of it, just like almost all at once, like it can be going a little bit of growth, and then over the course of like 3 months, it quadruples. You know, we just see that so often in the
Right.
normal growth curve.
And
All right.
one of the ways that you can really pick this up, because obviously publishing hour yourself, you're not going to necessarily going to be able to turn this into just a massive website. And so at this phase of your website, it's okay to start outsourcing some of that content. Whether
If you want.
If you want to.
In our course, it's maybe a quarter of the members, I would say, who are outsourcing.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic if you can. Once your website is earning some money, you really should.
To reinvest it.
But you don't have to. If you want to do everything yourself, fine.
If you can commit to a publishing hour every day, you can create enough content on a website to be able to earn a very good and substantial income. We've seen it. We've done it many times, but we've seen it with other people who are members of Project 24.
Yeah, we have a member of our course who we just went out to lunch with a little bit ago who's earning a lot of money, way more than a full-time income.
About probably twice what he set out to initially.
Yeah, and it's because of this.
He created all the content
what
himself.
was this thing?
Yeah.
And he's like, he did everything himself, and he just went crazy at it, just continually working at it. But he'd created so much content that when it hit big.
It hit.
All right, so here's another year tip. This one's kind of hurts me. Hurts me to be talking about. So I grew a giant Facebook community for one of my websites called improvephotography.com. And this website, got to over 1 million page views and has earned millions of dollars over the years. It became a large website, and I was really proud of this Facebook page. Back in the day, that Facebook page used to bring in a lot of customers to me who would buy my online video courses teaching you how to do photography. And so I spent a lot of time on it. And I think that's what most people want to do in this phase is like, okay, I got to start an Instagram, a Twitter, and get some people coming to my website. And one day I realized I'm spending 25% of my working week answering questions on Facebook, engaging with the community, posting memes, and just engaging this community. And then I thought, I haven't checked in a while. How much traffic is this bringing in? I checked my Google Analytics for that website. All of that 600,000 people that I was spending 25% of my working time engaging with brought in less than 1% of the traffic to the website. I was gutted. It was so painful. I just realized I have wasted an incredible amount of time doing what I thought was best for my community. And so I said, you know what? I quit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop Facebook. And guess what happened to the numbers on my website? Nothing. The traffic didn't go down. The sales didn't go down. I just realized that I was on a treadmill. I was working, but I wasn't actually moving anywhere further. Go try to find a Twitter post from 3 weeks ago. No one will ever see it. You could hide a dead body at the
On
3
Twitter.
Twitter posts ago, and no one will ever find it. You're doing work, but it's not evergreen. It's not going to be there later on. And so avoiding social treadmills has been a major part of our game plan for these websites. But there are social media channels where you can do work that will give you benefits years in the future and can drive significant traffic.
Think about the imagery of the treadmill, right? On a treadmill, you walk or you run and run and run and run, but you don't go anywhere. And that's how it is on Facebook and Twitter. Just like you said, you post something
Instagram
and
the same.
Instagram, it's gone in minutes most of the time, right? Almost nobody will ever see it. And even if they do, what's the likelihood they're actually going to engage with that content and perform an action that earns you an income? It's just very, very, very low. However, there are some places in social media where it's not a treadmill. You can actually put out content that is evergreen. YouTube and Pinterest are 2 great examples of social media channels that allow you to create content that will still show up for months and months and years and years. We get views every day, thousands of views on videos that are 2 years old.
Absolutely. There are pins that I've pinned years ago.
They're still getting passed around.
Still getting repinned and still bringing in people to the website. And so you should promote your website. While you can just write your content, leave it out there, and Google will find it organically and rank it if it's good quality content. But you should also do some promotion. And by doing it smartly, intelligently, using the right networks, it can be a huge boon to your website.
There are social media gurus out there that want to tell you something different, but just remember that that's their business. Mm-hmm. That's how they make money, and they don't want you to know what we had to discover the hard way.
Yeah, we don't care how we show you how to get the traffic. We just care that you get the traffic. We'll show you the way that actually works. All right, then we're going to go into the next phase. Phase 3 is where you're actually launching a product. So info products, selling a video course, selling an audio guide, selling an ebook, an information product that you can put together is really easy to do. And we have found to be the most valuable way to monetize our sites. So whatever your topic is, we want you in phase 3 to start working on an info product that you could put on your website. For some of you, you may have an info product that somebody else has made and you just want to be an affiliate for it. But this is a time to start building an email list, a YouTube subscribers, a list or a community of people that you could market something to once it's ready. And this is where we see the websites really taking off.
And once you have a really cool info product, then what you want to do is create just a nice funnel that's going to just, you bring in the loads and loads of people through the content on your website, maybe a YouTube channel, and a lot of those people aren't ever going to buy that product. But what you're going to do is you're going to sift through those people using a funnel approach, and then you're going to end up putting the right people in the right place to make that hard sales pitch to them when they're ready to buy that info product. And that's going to allow you to be able to sell that info product just passively, just month after month and year after year, if you just get the right funnel in place. So that's something we're going to be doing in phase 3 of a Project 24.
Absolutely. And so talking specifically, let's say it's normal for a website to earn $20 EPMP. That's estimated earnings per 1,000 page views. So let's say, you have 100,000 page views, you're earning a pretty decent income from that. But what we've seen is that when we take a website into phase 3, where we have an email list, we're like marketing to these people on the websites, we can take it to $200, $400 EPMP. So from that same amount of traffic, you could be earning 8 times the amount of money by getting smart with your marketing. This is a little bit down the line. Most people are focused on getting the traffic first, and that's great. We want to walk you through that. But this is where you're going, is eventually, if you can turn that marketing engine on and you can substantially increase how much money you make per person on your website, it completely changes the game.
And then we move into phase 4. Phase 4 on a website is turning this thing into a real business. Whatever that business looks like for you. In our case, it was hiring our own team of writers that we can train up to write exactly the way that we want, who can become somewhat expert in the industry that we have them writing on the websites. For you, it might look like that. It might just be freelance writers. It might be that for you, you've reached a point where you're actually happy with the income, and you just want to
make it more passive. Yeah.
Make it more passive and just let it steady, just keep rolling in for years and years to come. And really, you just need to add kind of a small critical mass of new content.
Phase 4 is where you're really creating processes that can just keep the website rolling to either grow it even further or to sustain what you've created. Those are the 4 phases of creating your website, and that's what we expect you to be working on during your Project 24 in order to get there. Can you see how incredible the business, the model is? That you're doing work today that can bring results for such a long time in the future. That's why we call it passive income. It's not that it suddenly happens to you and you don't have to do anything. It's that you're doing work today that will have value for a long time in the future.
And that has the capability to reach the billions of people in this entire world. That's what we're doing here, is we're taking something that one person can do, and where it used to be in traditional business models, and is for many people, that you can only reach the people that are right next to you, now you can reach the whole world.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think
Can you see the potential?
Yes, like improvephotography.com, like I became a photography teacher in a non-internet world. How much money could you really make teaching photography at a college, a high school, whatever? Like, okay, yeah, you could kind of meet your salary, but instead this is, earn millions of dollars from this website. It's just like a dork behind a laptop making videos of teaching things that I learned on the camera. It's awesome what you can do. Head into the comments and just say, I'm in. Commit to doing something and create something for yourself by creating this online business. We want to pitch you on something, and the reason we want to pitch you on it is because we really believe in it. It matters to me as a person like a lot that we actually are helpful to the people who are in our course, that we can actually get those people earning an income for their families, because that is our goal. For everything that we do on Income School, that is our mission. So we created a course called Project 24. That's kind of the complete version of this webinar that's just an introduction to it. And we've included a lot of different things. We had long discussions about like what should be in this course to help them with this, but then they have this problem. We need this. So we want to walk you through everything that we've included in the course, because it's not one of those things where you get this PDF and that's it.
Yeah.
This is a lot more than that.
And it's constantly evolving. As we learn more, as things change, and as we just see more and more needs from members of Project 24, we are constantly adding new things.
Okay, so what are you getting? First thing is a community. This isn't, a cruddy Facebook group that you're invited to. This is like a custom community that you're brought into. I see all the time internet marketers that are selling their communities for $99 a month.
It's ridiculous.
Every single month. And it's just such a good group. When we started Project 24, like I was nervous, like, yeah, but we got to make sure everybody gets answers, good answers to their questions. I don't want to start this community that ends up not really being that helpful.
Yeah.
And what I've heard many times from Project 24 members is this is the part of the course that they didn't give, that wasn't the thing that made them buy, but in the end ended up being the most valuable thing to them. Like anytime you have a problem with your website, you're not sure, am I on track? Is this post any good? Why didn't this rank on Google? You just post in there, and we have lots of very knowledgeable people in there. Ricky's in there constantly. I am in there constantly. Freddie is in there constantly. Like we are in there making sure that people get answers to their questions in the community. It's really, really cool.
We've personally talked to people who have said, I don't have anybody in my real life that I can talk to about this. My family and friends, they think I'm crazy that I'm spending my time. Exactly. And so I get no positive feedback. I get no reinforcement from the people around me. And the community is the thing that gets me going. So pretty awesome.
Thing two is the 60 steps. This is the meat of the course. What we do is we've broken down the initial planting a seed, the initial starting a website that can get traffic and income, writing those first 30 posts, and we've broken it down into 30 steps. And it is step by step.
60 steps.
It is download it, decide what your niche is today, and we'll give you a video course on exactly how to do that. And you just click it off. Okay, done with step one. Move to step two. Get your domain. Move to step three, hosting. If you're a beginner, all the detail is there. If you're more advanced, all the theory, the strategy, the numbers, they're in there. What we don't want you to do is waste time doing things like I've done on treadmills, things that just don't bring that result. And so the 60 steps is where you're going to spend your majority of the time in the course, showing you exactly what to do at each step.
We have already spent over 3 years refining just the 60 steps. It's just constantly being updated and upgraded. We have had members of Project 24 who were just spending way too long writing their posts. So we went in there and just shared a lot of helpful information about how they could speed up the researching and writing process.
A long time. People were saying, I'm spending about 4 hours writing one post. And we're like, no. You're never going to get there. It's taking too long. So we went to our writers at our creator studio and we're like, let's see what we can do. And so we made a course and we tested it. And we're like, okay, now how can we get their time down? So we made a format of exactly how to format every post. And then we found they could buzz through it, and in 90 minutes, they're producing a post. It's really cool what it can do for you.
This kind of complete course sells very, very commonly in internet marketing for like $599.
$1,000 is very common. Yeah.
Just for one course like this. But in addition to that, we have an entire catalog of courses that we're constantly adding to. We just updated it recently with another course. We're just updating another course. It is just full of courses. You can see here in the course catalog, just course after course after course. Every time that we find something else that we feel like
if
the
it's
members
missing and it's needed,
it's going to be there. We're going to add it as a course.
Yeah, and this is like most internet marketers want to sell you on a zillion different courses, and that was like one of our manifestos when we decided we were going to do this. Is like no upgrade fest.
Not weird bundles upsells.
We want to give you what you need to be successful online, and so it's all in there.
It's a complete package.
There's so much more we have in there. We do a podcast. We want you learning while you're at the store, everywhere. A podcast where you're going to be learning what we're working on right now, the up-to-date tips that we're doing. We want you to check it out. Go to incomeschool.com/go. It's going to show you everything in the course. We've been really aggressive with the pricing to do the best we can for you at a very reasonable price rate. And so check it out, incomeschool.com/go. While you're listening to the rest of this, go check out the sales page there.
There is so much there, and you can see there's a little video, there's a lot of information there that'll walk you through everything that's in there. But when it comes down to it, no, it's not super cheap. No, it's not the easiest thing to do. We have been very aggressive on pricing. But if we could just save you 1 month to success, if we could get you to a full-time income 1 month sooner, the course would pay for itself out many times over. And what we find is that we are helping people who have been doing this for years. I've had people tell me I've been trying to make money online for 9 years, and I have never succeeded at making more than a few dollars a month. And now suddenly I am consistently earning income from my website. You may be one of those people who saves years or who may just give up altogether, but because of Project 24, you have everything you need to be successful the first time.
Okay, speaking of that, we're going to get really non-Hollywood here. This is my office. Welcome to my office. Just in my home. I want to show you this. Ricky mentioned how we celebrate the success of our members. I feel like most people selling online are mostly interested in they celebrate when they make a sale. Our celebration is when our customers succeed. And so these are not sales of our course. Each pin on this map is somebody who is actually earning money from their website from learning the things that we have taught them. And I actually have a lot of pins that I need to put up that I haven't quite updated yet. Okay, sorry for the weird video work there. But it's really important to us that we align ourselves with you. It matters a lot to us. When I see a customer who's frustrated not seeing success, it matters a lot to us, and we want to celebrate your success. So we want to get you to what we call our pizza day as soon as possible. Pizza day is when you earn your first $5 from your website and you're supposed to order pizza for your family and just have a little bit of celebration that hey, things are moving in the right direction and we're seeing some early success.
So when you sign up for Project 24, here is what you're going to see. It's going to take you straight to a welcome page. There'll be a nice little video from us and just a step-by-step process. We'll show you the community, just how to get set up with the podcast, how to get into the community, the timeline, links to the timeline and the download center, and of course, the dashboard of courses. This is the course dashboard. You'll see there are a lot of courses in there with new ones being added all the time.
And you'll get this instantly after you purchase. You're instantly brought in here. You have access to everything all at once.
Yep, very good stuff. Okay, so let me just share with you briefly a little story. I spent years just in the grind of a normal day job. I got a degree, I got another degree, I did everything right. And what I found was that I was in a job that just drove me crazy, because no matter how hard I worked, no matter what I did, it was like being on a treadmill, just like Facebook, right? I was on a treadmill. It was hard to get anywhere. And if I worked really, really hard, if I was lucky, I might get a few extra bucks as a bonus at the end of the year. Or maybe I could get a raise or a promotion a little bit sooner. But no matter how much value I created, what I got for it was always just the same. As I got into this and as I just learned and started working with Jim and started building websites, I was able to start creating value for other people, information that helps people, that gives them just what they're looking for on the internet, and provide that in a good and useful way. And in return for the value that I created, I got to keep all of the reward, not just the little piece that some company decided to give to me. It was so freeing and so liberating that as soon as I was earning enough, I left that job and I've never looked back. It has been just the best thing that I've been able to do for myself, for my family and my 400 kids. It's just been such an amazing experience. And I really do want to be able to share that with you.
Yeah, for me, I started my first website when I was in law school. And, I was a very poor student, like many students are. And I just couldn't provide for my family like I wanted to. And I did graduate from law school and became an attorney. But by then, the blog that I had started while I was bored in classes, writing, just every free second during law school, had really taken off. And, even at that small level, that website was earning $10,000 a month when I graduated law school. And it's like, that's more than I would earn as a starting salary as an attorney. Yeah. And so I just went all in on it. It's been amazing having the income that has grown a lot from there. But a lot more than that for me, like I don't do well when I feel shut up and like I can't just do whatever project I want to go after. I feel antsy. And for me, the biggest blessing of working online is that I can just say, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go start a brand new website and go after that. I can say, man, I really want to go on this big vacation with my family. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to go work really hard and find a clever way to increase the monetization or get some more traffic on the website so I can earn it. Like, I just feel free with my job.
It's in your control.
It is, yeah, it's that control. And it has just made me a happier person. And I look back to what would have happened, just my mental state in being in a regular job, and I thought, man, it would have hurt every day to feel that way.
It does.
And so that's what it really means for me. We're excited for you to start your journey. There are 1,000 reasons for you not to do this. 1,000 reasons that you can say, yeah, but what if I put in the work and I don't see the reward? Yeah, but what if I start in on this in a week and I hit a plateau or a wall that I can't figure out how to do it and it just kind of dies out? Yeah, but what if it takes too much time away from my family? There are 1,000 reasons not to do this. And I guess the question I have for you is, what are you going to allow you to keep you from getting the incredible reward that is out there? What reason or justification or thing are you going to allow you to stop you? Are you capable of waking up an hour early and just getting after this and creating a very not normal, incredible life for you and your family? And so that's our challenge to you, is to begin your Project 24 today.